Well, it's Uncommon Fossil today. I'm going to feature a Tinkaton deck featuring the Tinkaton EX and the single prize Tinkaton as well, because they're both very nice cards to have. You might have seen a video I did previously that Tinkaton EX has become much more affordable because of the Tinkaton EX battle deck, I think it's called. Don't buy the actual deck to get the Tinkatons, but because that deck has been released, you can craft the Tinkatons for a lot less than you could before. If you want more information on that, check out the previous video from maybe a few days or a week ago about some new products that came out in live. But so diving into the deck itself, now we have Tinkaton EX 300 HP, so fairly tanky for a two prizer, right? But of course it is a stage 2, so that's the downside. But has the first attack's quite nice, and this is the main one with this deck. Big Hammer for 2 colorless, which we're pairing with a DTE. It does 30 damage for each card in your hand, so you want to build up to really big hand size, and then swing in, for big damage. You can also do Pulvering Press for Psychic colorless that does 140 and is an effect that hits through effects. So if effects are an issue, we can deal with that with Pulverizing Press, and we can do more damage if we have a small hand size. So that's an option with it also. Now, did mention that the single prize Tinkaton, which we are playing just one copy of in this deck. Second copy could be useful. Perhaps I might want to do some tweaking with that later. But so Tinkaton, 140 HP, so that's on the low side for a stage 2, unfortunately. But then it has a really nice ability, Gather Materials. You must discard a card from your hand in order to use this ability once during your turn, and then you may draw 3 cards. So discard, draw 3, super good, super good. So we like that in the deck as an alternate. Getting one single prize Tinkaton in play is good, and we will attack with it sometimes. Actually, it is a very good attacker, which is why if you're behind, its Special Hammer does 90 for Psychic colorless, and if Pokemon has a special energy attached, it does 90 more. So therefore, we do play Reversal Energy. 1 Reversal Energy pays for the attack, does 180, or we can attach either a DTE or Reversal if we're not behind, and then we have to attach a Psychic as well. So it's useful. We play one of the Tinkatuff Stage 1. We don't really want to use this to attack with, but sometimes it allows us to start to evolve one without needing Rare Candy every time. And then 4 Tinkatons, because that's the basic we're evolving from. And then this build uses the Kirlia engine, which I really like. We need to build up hand size, so you need to set up early. Kirlia is very good for that. Refinement, discard a card, draw 2, so growing the hand size. With this, obviously we play 3 of those, 3 Ralts, which is the basic it evolves from, and then 1 Gardevoir, the stage 2, the single prizer, with Shining Arcana. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 2 cards of your deck, attach any number of basic energy cards there to your Pokemon in any way you'd like. You have to attach them, I believe. I don't think you have an option not to attach them, and the rest of the cards go into hand, so you get to draw 2 cards. Both go to hand if not energies. You don't have to discard one, so you end up growing. Even you grow 2 cards with that. With the Kirlia, you're only growing your hand size by 1 each time. But these are nice cards to have. Then we also play 1 Manaphy just to protect the bench. For a deck just focusing on ladder play, you could just drop the Manaphy and just say, I take the loss to spread decks. And obviously it doesn't help the things that place damage counters. Tinkaton, Ting Lee's a big problem. Sableye and Lost Zone, it ignores Manaphy, so you got to be careful when you play it. But obviously protecting, particularly the Kirlias on the bench, right, to a Radiant Greninja is very important. There are builds that play the Milotic. Let's take a look at that, just so. Yep, I got the right card. So Milotic, it's a rapid straight card, and it has the Do Guard ability. Whenever your opponent plays a supporter card from their hand, prevent all effects of that card done to your hand, so therefore you're immune to Iono, immune to Judge. You get down to just a couple prizes left, and you get Iono'd. It's very bad for this deck, so I understand doing it. Generally, then they pair like maybe 2 copies of Milotic to Feebas, and then because you have to have at least get 1 into play. And then they also pair Rotom V for those turns you can't attack and draw some cards, which is useful. I do get it. I don't like it, though, because in that you don't set up as early on as well. And getting set up, if you don't set up early, it doesn't matter how good you are at the end. So it is a little better at the end having Milotic, but if we can have a Kirlia, like a Gardevoir, and a single prize Tinkaton in play, we can build up to a decent hand size, even if we're Iono'd down to 1 or 2 cards. So I like this build better. So looking at the energy count for double turbo, that powers up the Tinkaton EX's first attack, 2 reversal energies to attack either with the single prize Tinkaton or Gardevoir. We can, if you attack it to the Tinkaton EX, it does act as 1 colorless energy, so it has value there too. And then 4 basic psychic energies does help within the deck too. So looking at the trainers here, 4 Ultra Ball to help get those Pokemon we need, 2 Switch cards. I don't play Rope, but Switch, which I think makes sense, has been good in the deck. 4 Battle VIP Pass, want to get those basics in play early. Then I don't mind it with a Kirlia engine because I can discard the Battle VIP Passes later because they are dead cards after turn 1. But being able to discard with a card to discard with Kirlia makes them okay in my mind. 4 Rare Candy, we have the Tinkatons we need to get evolved. 1 full face guard, which is good for the Tinkaton EX because that doesn't have an ability. So a Pokemon without an ability takes 20 less damage each turn. 1 Klara to get back basic Pokemon, or any up to 2 Pokemon, doesn't have to be basic, sorry. And 2 basic energy. So therefore, that's useful in the deck. 3 Paths to the Peak. We don't have any rule box Pokemon with abilities with this build. 2 Boss's Order. 1 Lost Vacuum just to get rid of annoying Stadium or Tool. 4 Level Balls, really good to get the basics and the Kirlias into play. 4 Colress Experiment, I really like it. It's a very effective card in a deck like this that plays. I find it works pretty well in the deck. I'm very pleased with Colress in this deck. 2 Presses Research just to dig, and then 1 Arven Search for an item and a tool, also useful in this deck. So I'm finding this build to be pretty good. I have been tweaking it a little bit as I've been going along, but it's in a pretty good place, I'd say. The build with my load can be a little more popular, but I'm just skeptical of it because it's just not going to set up as consistently. So let's see how things go here. I will choose heads. I mean, I could be wrong. You play my Milotic, you do get Rotom V with it. I would put that in it, and then you get that extra draw there. So maybe it balances out. I think Kirlia is better early game. My Milotic's probably better late game. I need to get to the late game for things to matter. And also playing on the ladder, if you a good start and your opponents will tend to concede too. In fact, I still want to build a good deck. I don't want to build a deck that only works on ladder. But I'm certainly not going to ignore how the ladder actually works. All right, so I'm going first up against Lost Zone. Do I have to think about this here? So get a Ralts, get a Tinkaton. I'm going to attach DTE to the active. Do I play Path? I'm going to not play Path. They probably play Radiant Greninja in the deck. I'm sorry, as I'm thinking through it. So they may play Radiant Greninja and Water Energy. I don't know if they do. They might not play Radiant Greninja. They could play Radiant Charizard or something else, but they probably play Radiant Greninja even for just the draw. Then if they play Radiant Greninja, they probably don't play Water Energy, right? So if I see a Water Energy in Radiant Greninja, then I need to get Manaphy down. Otherwise, they're just going to hit to the active. Now, Giratina is concerning because Tinkaton at 300 HP doesn't get one-shot a lot. But with Giratina's ability, it hits right through effects. That's not real good for me, right? So let me get this down. I want to get a Ralts down. Yeah, I'll get a Ralts down. I'll attach DTE to Tinkaton. I will play Path here. And I will research, see what happens here. What I don't have is Rare Candy. So looking for the stage 1 could have been a nice play. What's the stage 1 called again? I did not hit Rare Candy, so I need a Tinkatuff. So Tinkatuff is in deck, I do believe, so I will grab a Tinkatuff and see what happens. I'm going to evolve the guy on the bench and just pass. Yeah, I just pass here. So we'll see what happens. There's options here. Obviously, a Radiant Greninja taking out both the Tinkaton kind of crushes me, but I don't expect that. They only have... What did they get in the Lost Zone? They have 2 in the Lost Zone. I have none. You know, there's probably a solid chance they're going to take me out with Cramorant, which is fine. The problem I'm going to have is their Giratina is going to blow up, going to just one-shot my Tinkaton EX at some point, right? But they need 10 in the Lost Zone. That's the reality. So, but they'll get there. They most likely get there. It's always possible they don't. So, so it's a solid set of cards here. We'll see what happens. If they play Rope, they're going to get rid of my Path because that's the only card to get rid of. That might just be to get cards in the Lost Zone too, right? They got 6 in the Lost Zone, so now they're 1 away from the card that accelerates energy. And now, sorry, I'm blanking on the name. You know, a Mirage Gate, right? The item that accelerates 2 energies of different types to your Pokemon however you want. So retreat, I think, into Comfy because they're at 6, so they need 7 to be able to accelerate energy. Now they retreated for turn, so, and they need 3 energy onto Giratina to attack. So, and I believe they attached by hand. So they can, well, Mirage Gate can get the 2 energies on, and then they can do the second attack. 160 hits through me. Just knocks me out. It hits through effects, but that doesn't matter. So Sableye. Sableye is obviously a concern. The Kirlia engines are very vulnerable, but, you know. All right, what do I want to Lost? I need to play Kirlia. I'll bump a Stadium because I don't really think I need these Stadiums at this point. I haven't used a supporter yet, right? So, I mean, Boss. I still can't. Well, I can switch in, right? So, let me get rid of. I'll get rid of my last path. I think that's my last path. I think I'm okay without that. Then Gardevoir draws me 2 cards. All right, that's really nice. So I would love to, if I hit Boss, then life is magic, right? Then because then I take out the Giratina V. Didn't hit that. Okay. I want to keep digging through the deck though, so I want Tinkaton. I think I want Klara. I'll grab the DT. I'm not sure. None of these cards aren't critical. I really wanted Boss. That's really what I wanted, but not to be today, so it's okay. I'll evolve here. I'll evolve here. So I'm doing 250. I would one-shot the Giratina. No reason to make any other plays, I don't think. I could get down a... Let me get down another Tinkaton, because I have 3 rare candies, and I have the single prizer. I like that. So yeah, let me get down a Tinkaton. Sableye can punish him, but they're going to punish something, right? They're going to punish something. So I can't worry about that. I need to get more engine pieces set up. If they take out the Tinkaton, I mean the basic Tinkatink, So be it. Obviously, if they go, they may go after the Kirlia, and then they can't one shot the Sableye doesn't one shot the single prize Tinkaton. They need they're at 7, so now they're at 8, which I have to refresh to see what they got rid of. Radiant Greninja. Okay, so they do have Radiant Greninja, and I didn't bench Manaphy, so they're going to take 2 prizes probably. I don't know what they're going to do, but that they could hit into like the Gardevoir also. I imagine they're going to use Radiant Greninja's attack. We'll see. I do want to get Manaphy down then. You know, they want to get to those 10 cards to use Sableye and to use Giratina's V-Star attack. So we'll see what happens. They did Colress this turn, I think, right? I'm not certain, though, right? The question is, if they play a rope, what do I send up? Okay, so they're going to one-shot my Tinkaton now, because now they're going to have 10. They have the energy. They're probably going to start Requiem. I get it. It's a logical play. Klara gets... Right now, Klara will get 2 cards back into hand. I need to get cards in hand to one-shot the Giratina. That's what I need to do, right? I assume they're going to take out my Tinkaton with their Giratina V-Star. I have my Tinkaton EX on the bench. I'm going to set up the Tinkaton, see what they do. Alright, so, yeah, so it didn't matter what I sent up. So, but, you know, if I didn't play that, they might not have needed to cross switches. So that's good. Get 2 cross switches out of the way. They still may have 2 more. If they hit those, that's bad news for me, right? Oh, no, they've lost on 1, so that's their last of the last of those cards. All right, so there's 2 Pokemon, just 2. Okay. So how much damage do? I do 280, which is exactly what I need. I like that. What do I want to do here? I'll Shiny Arcana. See what I draw. Well, that's nice. I like that. Let me... I want to get rid of something here. I will get rid of that basic energy. I can recover that with the Klara, right? So that has benefit to growing my hand size. Stinky. I really wanted to get... let's see what I get. A Rare Candy, check. Energy. And I'll grab Ultra Ball. I don't think I want to... So this is good. This is very nice. So now I can get rid of this and this. Grab the single price Tinkaton. Right now I'm going to do 370. I don't have to do 370, right? So I just want to make sure. I think I want to attach full face guard also. Oh, he's 280. I'm doing 310. Oh. Or do I want to attach energy this turn? I can't attach energy and full face guard. So what do I want to do here? I'll attach full face guard. I'm just going to make him extra tanky. Don't play any more cards, because then you don't take the knockout. Right, I need to, right, Giratina V-Star is 280. Have to make sure I do the 280 damage. If I overplayed a card, that would have been a mistake that would have been disastrous. I wish I had... I didn't get Manaphy down, right? So they can take out Kirlia, but that's it. They can't... the fact that I got the Tinkaton evolved is quite nice there for sure. We'll see what they do. I assume they're going to take out the Kirlia and some other card. That's okay. I might want to get Manaphy onto the bench. They might Aono me. Right, that's the downside to this whole thing. But Tinkaton does draw cards. Gardevoir draws cards. I'm okay with that. I want to get Manaphy onto the bench. Because I take one prize. I'm not sure what they'll hit into. They can always gust something up. They have to play boss. Well, rope also forces me to switch. Let's see. They've got Lost Zone to boss. A couple comfies. Okay, a switch card. Let's see. So they haven't discarded boss, so they probably have some boss sitting around. We'll see what they hit into. Yeah, that's the obvious choice. And let's see. This is the one that... Okay. So I'm glad I got the full face guard on. Protects me there some. They can take me out with Dragonite V, though, right? So that is an issue. So what do I want to get here? So right now I'm doing huge damage. So I need to... I need Manaphy, right? I need Manaphy. Alright, so I want to discard him and discard... I'll get rid of him. I want to... don't have... so Manaphy's prized, I guess? Right, this deck does play Manaphy, I'm pretty certain, right? And I haven't seen it, so it must be prized. Okay. Well, that is what it is. So I'll just bench him. I don't need more cards in hand. I could... Yeah, no, let me not thin, because I get dangerously close to decking out with that. So, we'll see what happens. Obviously, would have liked to get Manaphy down. Pretty sure he's in this deck list. I'm pretty sure, right? So, we'll see what happens here. Lost Zone's a very good deck. You know, it's a very good deck. Giratina's solid. But, you know, that's okay. Sableye okay, right? They have to two-shot a single prizer. And they could... Let's think, 230. So they could two-shot my Tinkaton also. But, so I need to keep powering up the Tinkaton on the bench, right? I does 90, and I don't know. I had some slightly scary thunder outside is what I'll say. So that's good. So that means I'm at 140, so they can't take out my Tinkaton next turn either. So that is quite nice. So I'm going to attach a reversal energy. It probably won't work as reversal, but it still, I think, boosts my damage. Actually, it might not at this point. So I think I just hit into him, right? I just hit into him. Is there anybody I'm afraid of? I don't think there is. I think I'll just sit on my hand and attack. I mean, it's a huge hand, right? This is the type of hand. So finally hit Manaphy. Obviously, Greninja doesn't lose me the game. I don't think they can... I think I have game. I think I have the game sewn up here. So the decks perform quite nice. So I'll send up the guy that can attack and knock him out, right? I have Switch. I mean, I can, you know. I mean, the question is, if they were to gust up my Gardevoir and Iono me, then it gets tricky. But they can't Oh, Fantina. I like. Oh, interesting. It actually doesn't matter though, right? Fantina only is at 10 or more in the Lost Zone, takes 120 less from V, so it doesn't matter actually, right? So that's okay. So I have my options. I think I could just take him out with Tinkaton. Right, so maybe I'll just swing in and do the huge damage, right? So it does 180, does it? Okay, good. So I'll just do that for 180. I wasn't sure because it says it just acts as a colorless if you're not behind in prizes, right? So I wasn't sure if it still counted as a reversal energy, as a special energy. It does. I think Temple of Sinnoh turns it off, so it just doesn't act as a special energy, I think. Assuming Live has it implemented correctly. So huge damage, right? 1,390. Could have had a huge attack at the end if I switched in. No need to do that. So that deck really shined there. It's a good deck. I'm still... I'm liking this list, I gotta say, with the Kirlia engine. It suits my style a little more, I will say. You can play it with my Lodic, and then you're going to probably shift around the rest of the deck a little bit too. Second, Tinkaton, single prizer, certainly could be a nice option, but again, you're only attacking with it mostly when you're behind in prizes. No, this one doesn't have to be behind, so the reversal and the basic energy cover the attack cost too for the 180, so not bad at all. Initially, I did have some V-Guard energy in the deck, which has value, right? That's like against Giratina hitting into you. If they're doing the 280 damage, you have you're reducing 20 with the full face mask, and then V-Guard reduces another 20, so it could be useful, although they're obviously going to two-shot you, probably finishing out with even another Pokemon, so it might not matter, which is why I dropped the V-Guard. So I'm finding this to be a very solid deck. I'm glad that Tinkaton is more affordable because of that EX box they released, and I encourage you to give it a try, and hopefully you have some fun. Take care.